Hi guys! Do you know there are ways with which you can improve your writing skills immediately? Yes, you heard that right. And in this video, we are going to share all those tricks by which if you adapt them, you can really level up your game when it comes to your writing skills. So let's look into it. That's a very important decision. She looks very tall. That's a very big house. My first tip is refrain from saying very. No, it's not incorrect. But if you want to score a high band, try and use other words when you want to describe very, such as a crucial decision instead of a very important decision. Or instead of saying a very big house, say that's a huge house or a massive house or an enormous house. Okay, so very is something that also native speakers reuse pretty much. And this is something you should refrain from because you want to showcase stronger words. Okay, and believe me, if you start omitting very from your writing skills, you will obviously naturally notice that your writing skill has improved. It has become much clearer and stronger. So that's a very clear solution. That's an obvious solution to improving your writing. Okay? But it can also happen at times that you do not know the synonym of very or you do not know what to replace very with. What do you do in those cases? So while it's good to put out stronger words in place of very, I'd suggest if for instance you're not able to think about a word that you can replace it with, just try and omit very. Okay, so you could just say a clear solution. Okay. So try and focus on this and try refraining from using the word very way too many times. The next point is try and avoid beginning your sentences with it is and so on, or that is, or there is and so on. Now, while they're not incorrect again, these sentences are very basic and simple. They lack a lot of style and a lot of impressive formal English. So if you want to land in a higher band score, there are better ways to begin your sentences. For instance, if you want to write a sentence which goes something like, it is important to introduce a new policy, try and rephrase that and write it something like, introducing a new policy is crucial, or introducing a new policy is important, or introduction of a new policy is highly recommended. All right, so that formation naturally seems much stronger than using just it is. Okay, so tip number 2 is try and refrain from sentences that begin from there are and it is. Moving on to the next point, using strong verbs. Now let me explain this with the help of an example. Okay, so just to say that he went around the world, try and use a stronger verb than went, which is to go, and instead say he traveled around the world or he explored the world. Okay, so try and use stronger words to make your writing much more impressive. Another example that I could share with you is, I got an offer from the university. Instead, I could say, I received an offer from the university. So, instead of using got an, I used received, which is again a stronger form of a verb, and it naturally looks more formal, and that is what you're looking for while you're appearing for your writing section. You have to be very academic and you have to write formally. Now the next tip is to not use contractions when it comes to your writing section. Now you might recall that we've laid strong emphasis that you must use contractions when it comes to your speaking. Why is that so? Often we've told you that when it comes to your speaking section, you can go a bit informal. As in, you don't need to be friendly with the examiner, but the way you speak has to be honest and natural, and nobody speaks formally all the time. So it is acceptable when it comes to your speaking, but when you're attempting a writing examination, you have to be completely formal. So do not use contractions when it comes to your writing section. The way you speak is not the way you write. So if you have to say do not contract that and write don't, or do not make it into won't, can't, shouldn't. Write the complete words. Write do not, should not. Okay? Now the next step I'm going to share is very important. So the next point is to keep it absolutely accurate. Now, what do I mean by this really is that most people try and use too many complex words in their writing to get a higher band score and to showcase their amazing vocabulary. But what happens is it rather has a detrimental effect on your writing. Why is that so? Because usually while people are sitting in the examination, they tend to misjudge at times where the word fits correctly and the accuracy of the sentence is lost. So please refrain from that. Do not do that. Try and use simpler words but which are grammatically correct, which make sense, and which are completely accurate. Okay, so when you try to gain marks on your lexical resource, which is 25% of your exam parameter, you must know that accuracy and simpler sentences will fetch you more marks than writing too many complex words and just fitting in everything anywhere. Okay, so try and focus on your accuracy rather than focusing on big complex words. You could write simple English but make it effective. Now that's it for our lesson today, and if you are guilty of committing any of these mistakes, or if you feel that all these things went unnoticed when you used to write earlier, then you can improve on these. Okay, so take a note of these points and level up when it comes to your writing. Thank you.